This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store. Delighted to be joined with Peter Fury. We've just concluded a fun night here in Coventry with GBM. Big upsets, exciting fights, knockdowns. It had a lot. Obviously, you was on the broadcast team. Happy with what you saw out there?
Yeah, very happy. I enjoyed the fights close up, commentating on them. So it was a great night. I've enjoyed it, really.
Like, you've had many roles in boxing, trainer, and I suppose on the broadcast team. Like, how do you do you enjoy it? Is it something that you enjoy doing, I guess?
Well, you know, before tonight I couldn't answer you because I've never done it before. So yeah, it was enjoyable. Yeah, it's good to get an insight into the fights. Good for the fans as well to see what my opinion is on the fights, I suppose. So yeah, it was good.
Do you feel like you noticed that with like fans that, like, I suppose I'd say like you have quite a well-respected opinion in boxing. Like, do you feel like you noticed that your opinion may hold quite a lot of weight? Would you say?
I would just say maybe I'm not right all the time. I'm not Einstein, but I give an honest opinion, and I think that's all I can only see as I see things in my own eyes. So I just say what I think, and yeah, that's all you can do, really.
Obviously, Hughie meant to be on the bill tonight, and that wasn't the case. If you don't mind me asking, like, what were really the reasons that led to him not fighting tonight?
Getting opponents, agreeing opponents. For one reason or another, the opponents falling over. British Boxing Board of Control issues, medical issues, you know, and the clock's running out. We're getting closer to the fight date, and it's not happening. So, you know, GBM, Izzy, they've all tried their best to make the fight, so we're just running out of time, basically, on the last minute.
Is that a frustrating thing, like, where, you know, realistically, the reason that he's not fighting isn't really any fault of your own, I can imagine, and he's someone that wants to be fighting as active as he can?
Yeah, he needs to be active, but you know what, it's not really a blip, because the end of August he'll be on again, and we'll still get a couple of fights this year, which means he'll have 4 fights. So I was hoping for 5 fights, but at least he's going to get 4 in. So it's not really an issue.
For sure. I did want to ask you about your stable as well. Obviously, Matty Harris with a good win the other week. I'm happy with how things are going so far, under your wing.
I'm happy with Matt. Yeah, he's improving, and I think he's a phenomenal talent. But he's just, you know, look, it's got to be unlocked. It takes time, but when he clicks it properly and he gets his distance right, there's still a lot of work to be done. But there's a big improvement in him, and I was pleased with the last fight. He's got awesome power as well, and yeah, he's just got to grow, and it'll just take time. But we'll just keep every fight. We'll just keep progressing.
Obviously, it's different for every fighter, but as we saw, obviously, Noel Berry is suffering an upset defeat tonight. Obviously, Matty Harris had something similar when he lost to Dominchenko almost a year ago now. How much is it a coach how much is it as a coach do you have to, like, almost install their confidence back again in their ability?
I think what a fighter's got to accept is when you're in there with good fighters, you know, things can go wrong. You know, and as far as with Matt, where Matt's concerned, Dominchenko's very experienced. You know, he's there and he's tough, and because Matt couldn't get rid of him, Matt blew out. You know, he wasn't in the best of shape anyway. It was too soon for him. Bearing in mind, this is a guy that's had 7 amateur fights. You know, the experience just isn't there. You know, so. But he never got stopped badly, he got stopped on his feet. He got stopped himself, actually, because he ran out of steam. And that was basically it. So inexperience cost him. So he got rebuilt. The same with young Niall Berry here. He fought a hell of a good fighter there in that Italian. I was very impressed with him, actually. He ticked a lot of boxes. He'll probably go on to do very big things, that kid. And I thought Niall held his account, he put up a good fight. You know, it was ebbing and flowing. But for me, next time, he needs to get his distance better. So close the distance a bit more, work to the body, and then go up. Especially when you're a short fighter, you know. So because he was missing quite a lot, and you know when you're missing, it's worse than getting it when you're missing. Especially in boxing, it takes a lot out of you as well. So he'll grow from it, he'll study it, and he'll be back next time.
For sure. Did want to move on as well. Did have to talk about what happened this week. A massive press conference for a massive card on the 21st of September. Arguably one of the best that British boxing has seen. And we saw, I'm missing all four promoters, all four main promoters on the top table: Ben Shalom, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, and Callum Sowland. Before you sort of go into the fights, to see that, it's a mad sight, I can imagine.
Definitely, but you know what? They're running out of good fighters, and all good, fighters need to fight each other. So it's good that everybody's coming together and making these fights, because ultimately it's not about promoters, it's not about managers, it's not about trainers, it's about the fighter fighting other fighters, giving the best so as the public can see the best. And this is all good for boxing anyway.
And when it comes to Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois, they have history with all their sparring on GB together. A big domestic fight in a big domestic arena on a stadium, on the 21st, and I'm sure one that you look forward to as well.
I'm looking forward to it. It's not one-way traffic. I think it'll be a good fight. I just fancy, if I had to pick one right now, I have to pick AJ on experience, speed, and just that sheer experience at that level. But don't underestimate it. Daniel's improving a lot.
You mentioned there about Daniel improving a lot, and speaking obviously of Matty and Niall and that. When it comes to like mentality with Dubois, what do you think is it with him, where he's shown heart in the fights against Hrgovic, and he's shown heart in the fight against Miller, where previously you could argue he may not have always shown that heart in his career, maybe in the Joyce fights and the Usyk fights. Do you think that with Dubois and with guys, he's not mentally aged, and that heart, I suppose, it can develop, I guess, to the position that we see now?
Well, we're going to see very soon just how much it is, but he seems to have turned the corner, especially with young heavyweights as well. Young heavyweights can turn the corner for sure. If you're a seasoned heavyweight like 30, that's another matter altogether. But young fighters, they've got to develop mentally and physically. So yeah, of course he can grow mentally and physically.
Does it also make it an even more interesting fight because both guys are in such red-hot form at the moment as well?
Yeah, definitely. And listen, this is the heavyweight game. Either one connects properly, it'll twist the fight around. So I think it's whoever connects first in that one.
For sure. Just as we close this off, anything happening in the Peter Fury stable? Exciting things ahead?
Just Groundhog Day in the gym. Getting fights ready, and just taking it easy and looking forward to the next fights.
Absolutely, Pete. As always, thank you for taking time to speak to me, and enjoy it. Thank you, mate. Cheers, man.